In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to sign up for a Dropbox account, which is free, how to install Dropbox on your computer, and then how to start using Dropbox to share photos and text with the designers and developers at B&B websites. So let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is sign up for the free account, and to do that we'll go to Dropbox.com. And then here on the home page, we'll click the blue sign up button. It's going to ask us for some basic information, not too bad. And then you'll check to agree to their terms, and then hit sign up. After you hit the blue sign up button, you may be prompted. Dropbox might try to sell you on some of their paid packages, although you don't have to worry about that. The free version of Dropbox is just fine for what we're going to be doing. Sharing photos and text and relatively small quantities of data. So go ahead and just do the free one. And then something that's going to be really important before we can go any further is you need to go to your inbox of the email address that you put into your sign up form. Dropbox will have sent you a verification email, and you need to click on that verification email, click on the link that's there, and follow any of the instructions that they indicate so you can verify your Dropbox account. If you don't do that, then you won't be allowed to share any Dropbox folders. So before we go any further, go ahead and pause the video and head over to your mailbox so you can verify your Dropbox account. So you'll see this particular Dropbox folder that I'm using already has some things in here. We've got a welcoming document from Dropbox, and then we've already been using this one a little bit. So one thing to keep in mind is that you may have your photos and text in Dropbox, but if it's not inside a shared folder, then we won't be able to see it. So I'll show you what we mean. The first thing that we'll do is create a new folder. We can do that here by clicking that new folder button. Now we need to name it, and this actually trips up a lot of people. This kind of causes some headaches on both ends. So it's really important that you name the folder the name of your property. So for this one I'm going to do the sample in. And why that's so important is because in our Dropbox we've got several hundred different folders, and if you happen to name your folder camera uploads or website pictures or something generic and vague like that, we're not going to be able to pick it out of the crowd. So it's very important that you name the folder after your property, and then we can go ahead and share it. So after you've done that, one other thing that sometimes causes a little bit of confusion is that we use the word share. You need to share the Dropbox folder with us. Well, if we use this share link button here, this is going to share the folder with whoever we choose, although that's not exactly what we want to do. Sharing the folder lets us see what's there, but it doesn't let us collaborate, or in other words, it doesn't let us download your images so that we can crop them, edit them, manipulate them, and ultimately get them into your website. So what you got to do is invite to folder. So this option will be here. You need to click on the folder so it's highlighted, and then you can either click up here, invite to folder, or if you right click on the name you can also do it here. So we'll invite to folder. Now in this area we're going to be sharing it with info@bnbwebsites.com, and then at this point we could go ahead and share it. I'm just going to cancel that one. But once it's shared, this is a normal folder and this is a shared folder. You can tell the difference between the two because the shared folder, you can see it here as well, it'll let you know, but the icon will have some little people on there so you know that they're game friendly. So it's now at this point that a lot of times people find it easier to actually install the Dropbox client onto their computer You always will have access through the website. You can just come to Dropbox.com and log in and access and upload your materials here, your text or your photos, and you have full access this way. But sometimes it'll be easier to download and install Dropbox onto the computer itself. So let's see how to do that. We'll come up to, it would appear with your name here. We'll come down to install, and it should initiate a download here. So download Dropbox, and it's a free client. And once that download is going, you'll have the option to either save it or cancel, which is not what we want to do, so we'll save it. Now, it's a fairly quick download. It's a pretty small file size, so it shouldn't take too long, but just be patient with it. And some browsers will have this quick button that you can go to easily access the files that you've downloaded. Or what you can do is actually just navigate using the My Documents, the Explorer window, and go to your Downloads folder. And here we'll see the Dropbox installer. So we'll double click on that to initiate the install. This again might take a couple minutes, and you may need to give it some permissions, and that's fine. Alright, and now we're at the setup, so we'll click on Install. It says Dropbox is being installed. We're going to let it do its thing. And now here we go. So we'll input that same information that we signed up with originally, and once we've done that, it'll tell us the Dropbox was successfully installed. So now let's go ahead and open my Dropbox folder. Okay, so in here we've got a recreation of those folders. We've got our sample in, and it's synced, and then small web images, that just happened to be the one that was in there at the time. And that one has a little blue icon, so that means it's actually syncing currently as we speak. It's transferring whatever files were in here to my local computer. And then once it's finished, that little blue icon will turn into the green check mark. And that'll let me know that it's fully synced and ready to go. So the reason why this is easy is because now all we've got to do is come here to, on my computer, the pictures folder, which I don't like making memories, as you can tell. So, but what you can do is just drag any of these files right here over to Dropbox, and then of course it will be here on the root. And one other thing, the last thing that you'll really need to remember is actually just a reminder. Even if something may be in your Dropbox, if you've got pictures or text in here, if it's not inside the shared folder, then the designers and programmers at B&B websites are going to have no idea that it even exists. So if there's anything in the root of Dropbox, you need to make sure you drag it into here, into the shared folder. And that way, the designers and programmers at B&B websites can take all that material and get it added to your website. So there's one other thing that will be helpful, and that is to create subfolders. So let's talk a little bit about that. When it comes time to actually build a website, you may have maybe 50 to 100 different photos uploaded for use on the website, and that can be quite a bit to sort through, and so it's going to really expedite things. It's going to speed up the build process and get your website completed quicker if we have a little bit of direction. So something you might do is create a folder called exterior photos. You can put pictures of the outside of the home, or the grounds, the gardens, that type of thing. You might make one for room 1. You might make another one for room 2. You might make a folder for breakfast photos, so you can show off your Iron Chef skills. You might make one for common areas like the lobby, or if there's a dining room, or maybe a ballroom, that type of thing. You can have photos of the common areas. And making these subfolders, they're all going to be shared because they're inside of that primary folder. So the designers and programmers at B&B websites are going to be able to see when it comes time to put together the breakfast page. They can come directly to this folder, and all the photos and text will be in here just ready to go. They won't have to waste any time trying to hunt them down. So, and especially when it comes to the rooms, that can be important because, of course, you are going to be way more familiar with what your rooms look like than we are, unfortunately. So, this really, creating these subfolders can really expedite the build process of your website. And that is it. That is just about everything that you'll need to know about getting Dropbox set up and connected to B&B websites, so we can get all of that material from you, all those great photos and great text, and put it all into your website. If you have any questions, or if something is just not working right, definitely get in touch with our support group, and we'll get you going.